I hope you're doing well today. Welcome back to my channel. So glad you're here. I am going to make a chicken stew today with no roux. So it's not going to be a gumbo, but I've been debating all day actually. I have a few chicken legs and some chicken breast that I deboned, but I left the skin on. So I'm just going to coat them lightly in flour and kind of pan fry them. And then we're going to make a gravy. And it's going to consist of lots of onions and lots of garlic. And I'm kind of like just taking things out of the fridge. And there's a couple of new things I would like to try in this recipe. So hopefully it turns out well, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started. Here I kind of have a big mess, but it's all going to be used, and I just wanted to prepare it. So in this pot, and I'm using my Dutch oven that I got for Christmas. I just love this pot. I have a little bit of canola oil in here, and I already seasoned my chicken, and it's been out for about 45 minutes. And I let the seasonings. I have a Cajun seasoning on here, a little black pepper, and that roasted garlic powder that I like. I have a video, and it's called Sticky Chicken, and it's delicious. It's kind of a version of this, but there's a couple of things I want to try. Maybe add a little tomato, or anyway, it's going to be hearty. I'm only going to put a little bit of carrots and potatoes in. You could probably do this in the Instant Pot. I'm not sure, though, so I'm going to do it on the stove. But I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing as I go. I hope you enjoy the video because I've never made this before. It's kind of a test. Let me see how my oil seems pretty hot. So I decided to leave the skin on. And uh-oh, I just got flour on me. I need to put an apron on. So I'm just going to lightly coat it. And I'm going to put my fire on medium-high because we're not going to cook it all the way. We're just going to brown the outside. And I don't want a lot of flour because I tend to burn it sometimes. So I'm just going to set that in there. So I have 5 chicken legs. And then I got some chicken breasts with bone-in skin on for cheaper. So I bought those. And I just deboned them. And I've been saving my extra bones and extra meat that's on the bone for a chicken stock. We're going to make a chicken stock out of it. So I'm not going to be wasting it because I'm not the best at deboning it. My fire seems a little bit too high. I'm going to turn it down. And once you put all the meat in, it'll cool off a little bit also. And you really don't have to coat it in flour. I just want to try it today to make my gravy a little bit thicker. And I may have to do it in 2 batches. My pot, I think, is a 5-quart. I really wanted to fry chicken, but I'm trying to do something a little bit healthier. But I love fried chicken. And I haven't done a video really on fried chicken, I don't believe. So I'm going to put the legs in first. And like I said, I'm just going to brown the outside a little. And I definitely have to put an apron on because I really like this shirt. And I put most of my onions in the food processor so they cook faster because I'm going to cook the onions a long time. I'll show you. So let me turn these a little bit, put my apron on, and I'll be right back. So I flipped them so it's a little brown. And you could brown it more if you want. It's really up to you. I just don't want to burn it. But I need something to put the chicken on, in the pan. So I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes, probably about 5 minutes on each side, and then we'll pull it out. I turned my fire up a little bit, but I lied. I did it probably about 8 minutes on each side. But I'm going to go ahead and pull it out because we're going to be cooking it, and we'll also be draining a lot of this oil before we start cooking our onions and stuff. See, that was pretty brown. It's good. You know, I really want fried chicken, but I didn't want my house to stink, but guess what? I just made it stink anyway. That's okay. It's going to be delicious. I just know it. And if I have any burnt flour pieces, I'll just pull those out. Let me turn my fire. You got to watch your fire too. Okay. So I have these are pretty big. I probably could have cut these smaller, but I'll put the skin side down. And you could also pull the skin off. You could use chicken. A lot of people use chicken thighs, I find, in most recipes. We just prefer the breast. All right, I'm gonna fry these for probably not as long. And we'll go to the breast. And I turned my fire down. I had it a little bit too high. But I'm not gonna do it. The breasts don't take as long. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put these on my pan. It's getting late. We gotta start making our gravy. And it's gonna take me a while to cook the onions. I'll show you. But it makes it so delicious. So let me turn my fire off. Ella's gonna help me dump this. And if there's any burnt pieces at the bottom, we're just gonna dump it all out. But I think it's gonna be fine. It smells. We had a tiny little piece of chicken that was part of the breast, but it was cooked all the way, and we tasted it, and it was so good. It made us so hungry for fried chicken. So let me dump this, and then I'll show you what to do. Dumped out most of it, and I did burn a little bit of that flour. I'm not gonna lie, but I am gonna take just a spoon of this and put it in. Actually, I'm gonna take 2 spoons because it's got a little flavor in it. It'll be fine. I've done it before. I used to make my meatballs this way. Turn my fire back on, and I'm gonna add, you know what I'm gonna add? Just a pinch of butter. Because the butter goes really well with caramelized onions. Now, this is 2 jalapenos, and this was some leftover red onion I had from yesterday. This is a red onion and a yellow onion. I put it in my little KitchenAid food processor to chop it really fine. That's Ella. And this is almost a whole head of garlic, and I put that in the food processor. But we're going to start with onions. I'm going to melt this. And if there's too much oil at the end, I'll drain it. So let's put our onions in. And I'm going to have to keep coming back and showing you the stages of the onions, because this is probably the most important part. And you don't have to do it this way. That's a lot of pepper. It might be hot. I did take the seeds out though, because these onions are going to shrink to basically hardly anything. I'm going to use my wooden spoon so I don't make a lot of noise. But I'm going to cook these on high for quite some time, and you see that the butter, it just drinks up the butter. So I'm going to be cooking this a while. I'm going to clean up some of the dishes and clean my stove, and we'll start going. You'll want to keep stirring them because you don't want them to burn. I'm hoping with this Dutch oven that this process it goes a little faster, but I've never made it in this pot, so I'm not sure. But I have a little thyme plant outside. Now, we like thyme, but not too much of it. We just like a tiny bit, and I usually use the ground thyme that you buy from the store. But I thought I'd try this fresh. You gotta pull off all these leaves. Just a little touch of it. And I'm also gonna add just a tiny bit of salt to my onions, because I like to flavor every layer, as y'all know. Let's see if I can pull some more off, if I'm patient enough. And I'm on a parsley pan. My husband, I think I told you guys this, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I had a parsley plant in a pot, and we have a little bitty garden, so he put it in there, and it's just so beautiful right now. I just can't get over it. So I love using that. So I'm going to put that at the end. It just makes it so pretty. See, you can see it. They start browning, sticking. And if you have to add a little bit more olive oil, go ahead. But I'm just going to keep stirring because you don't want them to burn. But I'm hoping the way the food processor kind of grinds them up, or chops them up, however you call it, this is going to go a little quicker, I believe. But I'll keep showing you. I'll be stirring, so I'll be right here. I turn my heat down because I have never done this method in this pot, and I can tell you, this pot conducts heat a lot better than the other pots I have. So I have to adjust my temperature because I don't want to burn them. But it's going faster than it usually does. But you see how they're turning colors? It's going to give such a good flavor. You could also use, I used to use strictly sweet onions. And I found when I caramelized them, they were too sweet for me. So I reverted back to the purple and yellow and Spanish onions. And they sweeten up just right where it's not too sweet. You can also put bell pepper. I want to add a little of this, I think. I've never used this, but it's so good. So I might put some of this in my, in a little tomato paste today. Like I said, this is kind of a new dish for me. And I love to experiment with different dishes, different ingredients. So this is probably pretty close, but you have to really stay here and keep stirring. Okay, just wanted to touch base with you and let you know what's going on. And let me tell you the time. This has been about close to 10 minutes I've been stirring. So it won't be too much long. A little fast. I'm going to go ahead and add all this garlic. You know they have that thing on the internet, 40 cloves of garlic chicken, or... So this is kind of, I guess, similar to that, but I don't know what to call this yet, but I'm going to come up with a name. Because it's all kind of ingredients from all kind of different cultures. So let's stir this around for a little bit. See that onion? And you can tell when the onions are ready, you can smell them. They have this, just a sweet aroma. I can't describe it, I'm sorry. But they're just wonderful. And now I can smell the garlic. You definitely don't want to burn the garlic. So now I'm going to add, I have a little bit of this left in mine. And I also turn the heat down, I think I said that. I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous. I drank a lot of tea today. I'm going to add a little tomato paste. Just a little. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of this sofrito. It's delicious. And this is totally optional. This is, like I said, a test. I'm going to just put in 2 tablespoons. And now you want to add your chicken stock so you can deglaze the pan. And I'm also going to add, I never use these, those Knorr bouillon cubes. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah, I was going to pour in a little chicken stock. Let me turn my heat back up. No, go ahead, baby. And this is my favorite kind of chicken. And this is salted chicken stock. It's a beautiful color already.
Should I start adding that one?
I better be careful adding this because, no, I think that's good. So we're also going to add, this, I only have 2 red potatoes and I had the leftover carrot. I'm going to throw this in here, and you don't have to put this.
You should though, because it's good.
I just needed to use it. I'm going to add this bouillon cube too. I've been wanting to try these. So I'm not going to add any salt, definitely, to the gravy. But I'll just take these and just kind of break it up. I also have one that's tomato chicken. I was going to add that one, but I just had it on this one. Okay. Let me rinse my hands. Ella, cut the camera off and we'll be right back. I'm going to taste it. It's before I put the chicken in. Oh my goodness. It's already so flavorful. But you know what I forgot? I forgot the smoked paprika. I'm going to add a little bit of that, mostly for color and also for flavor. And that's probably about a teaspoon.
Really? That looks like a lot.
I'm going to add a little onion powder. Even though we had a ton of onions, I still like the onion powder. And I can definitely taste the jalapenos. Oh, my timer's about to go off. I'm going to add a little oregano. And I think that's about it for now. Maybe a little tiny bit of salt. It's going to be so good. Okay, let's add the chicken. I'm ready to add the chicken. And now we're gonna just cook it. And we'll see if we need more stock. Watch out, baby. I'm gonna put the spoon up. Oh, I got the paprika all over the spoon. All right. You probably could make a version of this in the Instant Pot, but I kind of wanted to just cook it the old-fashioned way on the stove. And the flour on the meat will also help thicken the gravy. I wish my pot was a tiny bit bigger. We might need a little bit more stock. We'll see. But I definitely like a lot of meat in my stews. I've always been that way. It's gonna be, I'm really excited. And we won't be able to eat all this. We'll have to freeze some of it. But I'm gonna, when I freeze things, most of the time I take the potatoes out just to let you know. They don't freeze that well. Okay, let me try to push this down in here. Turn my fire back up and get it going. I think I'm gonna add just a touch more stock and I'm gonna let it cook down.
6 good?
That we also brought the hot sauce, but I decided not to add any.
6 good now?
I'm gonna add just a hair more stock. All right. So let's stir this around, and look, it's coming up to a boil already. And if it were earlier, I'd probably cook this for a couple of hours. But I'm not gonna cook it as long because it's getting late. But I think it's gonna be, the gravy already tasted really wonderful. Okay, I'm excited. So I'll show you when it comes back up to a boil, and I'll tell you when I turned it back down. It came up to a good boil, so I turned it to low. You know what I forgot? A dash of this. I mean, you just have to. And not much, just maybe a teaspoon. I'm sorry about some. I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be so good. And you know what? I really didn't even have to add the vegetables, but I wanted to call it the stew. So, and you can see it's already. So it's just the right consistency. But if you want it thicker, you can definitely make it thicker. So I'm just going to cook this low and slow for a little while. And you want to turn it down because it pops all over your stove. I'll just stand here and keep wiping it. These stoves are a little hard to keep clean, especially if you get something burnt on here. Okay, enough talking. I'll be back for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and put a little, that's my parsley. I should have shown it to you before I chopped it. It's so pretty. I'm so happy. Are you guys planning on planting any tomatoes or anything this spring? I'm not sure. I still have to can my tomatoes that are in the freezer. I'm really behind schedule. Look at that parsley.
Oops, sorry.
I just wanted to show you the parsley, but yeah, we're still cooking. It barely fits in this pot, but it's okay. Turn my fire off, and you can see it's thickened up nicely. And I added off camera, I did add some cracked black pepper. I just love black pepper. But and if you look at the meat, see, you can tell that when it comes off the bone like that, it's cooked. Now, I would probably, if it was earlier, I'd probably cook it a little bit longer to get my chicken breast really tender. But they seem okay. But the potatoes are cooked. I checked those. And it's thickened just right. Oh, and it tastes so good. Now, most people probably would put more potatoes and eat it just like a stew. I guess because we're in Louisiana, we love rice. So we're going to be eating ours with a little rice. So now I'm going to let this cool off a little bit. And we're going to do a taste test. I'll try to describe to the best of my ability. This is different. And I'm so excited. It is so delicious. Okay, well, we're going to share this. I'm not going to eat all of this, but let's do a taste test. And we put a little turmeric. Ella actually made the rice. We put a little turmeric in the rice and a little parsley. But I like to cut the chicken breast up so the gravy, it gets absorbed by the gravy. I find it has a lot more flavor. And I think next time I make this, I'm going to cut the chicken up smaller. But let's taste the rice. And you could totally not use that many onions if you don't like that many onions. Like, this is really just a kind of just grab what's in your fridge and season it the way you like. But I wanted to share it because I really like when I caramelize the onions and we put the jalapenos, and it's not too spicy, but it is pretty hot. So I'm gonna get a little piece of meat and potato, and then I'll take the rice, but it's kind of hot. Mmm. I love red potatoes, but I don't know, the gravy or stew, I don't know what you call it, but it came out just right. It's the right thickness for me. I had been having this in my mind for the last week, and I look at cookbooks and I do all this, and in the end, I just go with my original idea because that's in my mind. I knew what I wanted, so I'm so happy it came out, and I'm so happy that I brought you guys along. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I added this, that, but it's so much fun cooking with all of you. So please subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you, and I'd love to share recipes with you. In my comments, I'm going to answer them tomorrow. I'm a little behind because I've been making a lot of videos, but I thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night, and come back and see me next time. Bye. This is delicious.